Hello from Odessa, Ukraine. This is an online event run by Black Sea Institute of Maritime and International Trade Law and Interlegal law firm. Black Sea Institute of Maritime and International Trade Law, it's a public organization focused on creating a platform for sharing experience between shipping and international trade communities in the Black Sea. My name is Artur Nitsevich. I'm a partner of Interlegal, and to the right from me on the screen, you can see my partner, Alexey Remeslo, who is also a head of international trade practice at Interlegal law firm. This is an annual event that we run every December, and we are very excited to continue this tradition this year again. Of course, we would be pleased to host you at our live events, either in Odessa or at any other places at the Black Sea where we have offices and from time to time arrange conferences and seminars. But we have to be online this year again. We have to support each other in these difficult times. And our aim today is to check up what has happened in 2023 and what updates we have this year from our main business that we all live from. It's a commodity trade and shipping from Ukrainian seaports. Today we have 4 speakers. These are great speakers, people that we have known for many years. This is Mykola Gorbachev, Gennady Ivanov, Karina Gorova, and Pavel Svertilov. I will introduce them a little bit later in more details. Unfortunately, today we are lacking Richard Faint, who inspired us to start Black Sea Institute activities. He is ill and cannot join us today as a moderator. So me and my partner Alexei will be moderating today's seminar. We have more than 200 registered attendees. Of course, not all of them will be online, but please be sure that after we finish our stream today, everybody will receive an email with the link for the records. Well, before we start, probably just a short insight that this year it's high time to discuss the outcome of the year right now, because this week we received good news. The first one is that due to the statistics provided by the Ministry of Infrastructure of Ukraine, we see that some 200 ships have passed through the Ukrainian corridor established by the Ukrainian Navy since August this year, and more than 200 ships already to enter. So this is for sure very good news. And also this week, President of Ukraine Zelensky reported that this week marked an important result for Ukraine on the International Maritime Organization stage. Particularly, last week, Russia was removed from the governing bodies at IMO, and also the Assembly of the IMO adopted a special resolution in support of our efforts in the Black Sea and established a technical mission in restoring navigation and establishing a new corridor in Ukraine. So vital news and vital decisions. Please feel free to ask questions in the Q&A section. As moderators, we will be doing best to ask our speakers or to give our views on that. And I'm just probably a few words, Alexei, about Interlegal.
Yeah, thank you, Artem. Can you share our presentation? Dear participants, just in a few words, I will remind you what is Interlegal, international law firm created in order to be useful for transport, shipping, and international trade people in their fair business. So that's why we have, just a second, that's why we have the next key practices. First of all, it's of course shipping. Any questions arising out of the charter parties, bill of ladings, and any kind of problems during the port calls. Of course, transport, road and railroad, investments in ports and terminals. Of course, our big practice, international trade, where we support our clients in different arbitrations such as GAFTA, FOSFA, OCEA, LMA, etc. Our big practice, corporate and taxes, also yachting and business sale and purchase, and of course, legal support for foreign economic activity. A few words about our chain of offices. Having headquarters in Ukraine, we also established a good chain of our own offices all around the Black Sea, such as Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania, Georgia, Moldova. And of course, I'm happy to say that this year we opened our new office in Cyprus. So please feel free to contact us in case you have any your business have any relations to this jurisdiction. Of course, we have more than 60 our associate offices, mostly in the ports of loading and discharging all around the world, in order to be able to provide a quick and prompt support to our clients there. And of course, finally, our key numbers, let's say. First of all, we have more than 25 years of practice. We have more than 1,000 client cases per year. I'm happy to say also that more than 70% of these cases finished by the amicable settlement. That is very good. And we also have a 24 hours a day client support. And I need also to mention that our shipping practice also have more than 25 arrests and ship released per year. And finally, more than 100 yachts under our maintenance. I think I'm done with this short presentation, and we can move forward with our main topics. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexei. So I will be introducing now speakers and topics. The first speaker will be Mykola Gorbachev, President of Ukrainian Grain Association. He will be giving an overview of grain exports and logistic challenges. I'm sure that he will be a headliner today. The second speaker is partner at Interlegal, Karina Gorova. She will be speaking about interlegal cases as for blocked ports, total loss claims in Ukrainian ports, and probably something interesting, something else interesting. The third speaker is Pavel Svertilov. He is a Chief Executive Officer in Svertilov Marine Consulting. This is a P&I correspondent of many known P&I clubs. His presentation will be dedicated to frequently asked questions by his principals. He's dealing with P&A clubs and ship owners every day. So it will be interesting to see their concerns. And the final speaker is Gennady Ivanov, General Manager at BPG Shipping, a known shipping operator in the market. Gennady will share his reflections on the Black Sea freight market. So all in all, we think that every speaker will be speaking about 20 minutes. We will have some time for questions and answers. Please feel free again. I'm saying to put these questions into the Q&A section in the Zoom. And all in all, I think that we will finish our online event in not more than in 2 hours. So this is our schedule, and I think we can proceed further.
Yes, we can proceed.
Further. And the first speaker is Mykola Gorbachev. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Artur. Thank you, Interlegal, for this event. In my opinion, it's very important just to keep on the line all important questions. But I would like to use this opportunity to thank all of you for all participants who support in Ukraine. And during this difficult time, without your support for us, it could be more difficult. I will start with my presentation, which I prepared. Now I have to find it. Sorry for this. And I checked before, it was working.
No problem. We all know that during online events there might be some difficulties. So please, no problem.
Okay, I think.
Yes. We got it. We got it on the screen.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see.
Thank you very much. Sorry for this, it's technical issues. I would like to say a few words about Ukrainian Grain Association. Ukrainian Grain Association, it's a public organization which are working more than 25 years. And before the war, 90% from total grain export was done by our members. We've got big international companies with 100 years history around the world, and big Ukrainian company who participate this trading since independence of Ukraine. And on the same time, we have a company who has own terminals, wagons, land, growing grains. That's why we can give expertise on all this supply chain and how to produce the grain and how to export, and be sure that all situation which we face on, even during the wartime, it's on not unique situation, and a lot of countries face on the same difficulties, including logistic, maybe on a smaller size and maybe not with a grain, but it's good that our members can give support and can give information about what we have to do. Okay, we have a very wild neighbor on the north, but geographically we located very well, and we will continue to grow grain. On this slide, I would like to show on a green color that territories on the
I'm
earth.
sorry, Mykola, just a second. We see on the screen your PDF file. So can you check whether you shared with the screen of presentation, SharePoint presentation?
Sorry, PDF file with the market prices.
Yes,
Yes, correct.
yeah, we saw
An
it.
insight.
Oh, here. Sorry for this.
Yes, right. And please start from the first slides.
Yeah.
Slideshow. Yes, right.
Perfect.
Okay,
Map,
thank you.
Cropland map. Mhm.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, sorry. And I would like to say that Ukraine located on a good climate territory, and we will continue to grow grain. We grow grain 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago. We exported grain during the First World War, during the Second World War, and we continue to export grain during this war with Russia, and we have no other choices, and it's our big advantage that Ukraine can grow more grain than we can consume. On this slide, you can see all the rest of the territory on Earth where we can grow the grain. For example, it can be India, and most of the population located on the north of India. It's where the Gang River. About 1 billion people live exactly here. And you see that big potential we have on a sub-Saharan region in Africa, but unfortunately, so many military conflict here. It's very rich soil, and there you can find diamond, you can find other ore, and all conflicts located here, it doesn't give the opportunity to increase agricultural activity on this region, but the sub-Saharan region is a big potential for the future. And of course, North America and South America has big potential to the growth. On this slide, you can see that Australia, most of the territory of Australia is desert, and you cannot grow grain there. It's only some part of the territory on the west, and some territory on the east. And they have no even a railway which will connect on the north some towns. And one of the biggest town on the north territory of Australia, it's Darwin. It's less than 100,000 people population, and most of the population concentrated on the east, north, east, south of Australia. And I cannot say that Australia can be a competitor even for the country of Ukraine on a volume of production. And of course, it's limited by territory, and erosion of soil will not give the possibility to this country to increase production to such level as Ukraine can. On the next slide, I would like to show that we have one of the richest soil, and the territory of our black soil, it's bigger than territory of United Kingdom, and it gives to us big opportunity to continue to grow grain even during the war, when we had shortage of cash, when we had shortage of fertilizer, shortage of technologies. And you see, we were lucky in this year. We had good spring with enough rains, and we have even records yield in this year for all products in all territory of Ukraine is because of rich soil. And this potential will help us to continue to increase the production. We still have a big potential of increasing yield. For example, our average yield on wheat a little bit higher than 4 tons per hectare. Versus French, for example, it's 7-8 tons per hectare. And on the same climate situation as in Ukraine, we have corn belt in USA, and average yield on Iowa state, for example, where they have frosty winter and summer when you have plus about 40 degree. and the average yield in Iowa about 12 ton per hectare, but in Ukraine, average yield on all territory of Ukraine, little bit higher than 7 ton per hectare. We can increase corn production with the same planting area about 30%, and on a wheat we can increase for 25-30% as well. But during this invasion, we face on the difficulties. You see on this map that all land which was war affected, and all this land has to be checked. Most of them mining, and farmers just cannot go to this field because their tractor just destroy it, and sometimes even people die. And we have to check about 6 million hectares of land. It's just a normal situation, and Ukraine for the moment one of the dangerous territory around the world, one of the mine territory around the world, and no one has experience around the world how to demine this territory. It's only Vietnam, Cambodia, but they're absolutely another technologies and another equipment. That's why we, as Ukrainian Grain Association, we created special fund for demining, and money from this fund we're using for teaching people, for purchasing equipment, which will help us to back this agricultural land to farmers, and we can increase our production for 25-30 million ton additionally, but it's only after the war, because on this east territory, on this east territory and south continue to go the real war, and people are dying every day. Of course, it's just impossible for farmers to continue to work on this land, and about 30% of all mines and all rocket which Russia is sending to Ukrainian land, they didn't explode it yet, and they can explode at any time. It can be tomorrow, in 1 year, or in 10 years. That's why we have to precisely check all this agricultural land before we'll use it with the farmers on production. On this slide, I would like to show the evolution of production grain in Ukraine. As you can see, we start from 42 million tons production, this red line, and a little bit more than 9 million ton export just 22 years ago in 2021. And after our grain production increase every year, nearly on the same planting area. We didn't increase planting area on the past 15, 17 years, but the technology and new possibility, new fertilizer, new seeds, new hybrids give to us the opportunity to increase production before the war to 106 million ton grain and oil seeds. And our export before the war could reach 75 million ton grain and oil seeds. We can add to this number about 10-12 million ton its products after the crushing, and our export could reach about 90 million ton grain, oil seeds, sunflowers oil, and sunflowers and soybean meals. But unfortunately, on the February 2022, we faced on this problem with our neighbors, and the terrorist country just crossed our border, and we didn't expect this, and we didn't prepare as a business for this situation. More than 90% from total our grain export was moved through the Black Sea ports and Nikolaev ports from Nikolaev, by the way, which still be blocked. Before the war, we export 25-30%. And we wasn't ready. And we start to try to find new way how to export the grain. And we were lucky, we increase our activity on Danube, we increase our activity on a railway and trucks. But what we realize, it's just impossible to increase this export options, export assets in times. It's limited after by European infrastructure. On each point we face on these difficulties. And it gives to us the opportunity to export 58 million ton grain and oil seeds on previous season. And plus about 9 million ton oil and sunflower meal. Altogether, agrarian export reached 67 million ton. In this year, we were lucky with the weather. As you see, our production of grain, more than 81 million ton grain and oil seeds. And our export can reach about 50 million ton. It's only grain and oil seeds. And plus will be about 10 million ton of oil and sunflowers and soybeans meal. Our total agrarian export can reach about 60 million. In this case, we should export about 5 million ton per month during the whole year. For the next campaign, we just decrease our expectation because I don't believe that every year will be so good with the weather. And it's clear today, 7th of December, and for me it's absolutely clear during the next 2-3 months war will not finish. We will not find any compromise during the winter time, and we will not beg the 6 million hectares of land. In this case, we predict that our crop will be a little bit lower for 8 million ton. I took just normal yield for all products as average. That's why our export can be a little bit more than 40 million ton. But what I would like to underline here, our domestic consumption in Ukraine from 22 up to 25 million ton. Depends of the year, depends of the product, but altogether it's 23-25 million. And in any case, we will continue to export, and we have no risk for the national food security, and even during the war. It's our logistic possibility. You see on this yellow line, you can see that before the war, we could reach export more than 7 million ton per month. But after the invasion on the 24th of February 2022, you see our export decreased to 262,000 ton in March. After we tried to find the opportunity how to increase, and during the 4 months, we reached 1,800,000 ton, but it wasn't enough, and we continue to find the way. As you know, after was signed the grain deal, grain corridor with United Nations and Turkey, and we were happy to have this opportunity to export through the Black Sea ports, because Ukraine has no alternative for the moment. Our Black Sea port are leader of export, and we have to keep this possibility. For the moment, the grain corridor continue to work, and in November we export through the grain corridor, as Artur said before, more than 200 vessels already with all cargos. And we did, according to the statistic, about 2.7 million ton grain and oil seeds through the grain corridor. But through the all others way, as trucks, railway, and Danube cluster. We export 4.5 million ton. I think we can reach figure easily about 6 million ton. I believe that Ukraine can export through the Black Sea ports, through 3 Black Sea ports, about 4 million ton per month. And we can keep others line as railway and trucks and Danube. We can keep there about 2 million ton easily. That's why on December, I do believe that this number will be more than 5 million ton. It's how we export the grain in numbers. You see that I put it this anchor black one for the port which are blocked. It's Kherson, Achakov, Mykolaiv. Red one which are occupied. It's Mariupol and Berdyansk. Our Panamax port, Pivdenny, Odessa, and Chernomorsk, we call it Big Odessa port. It's 3 ports. And our Danube ports, it's Uсть-Dunaysk, Izmail, and Reni. And the biggest progress which we reach, of course, it's Danube ports. But what I can say is that the logistic price for these deliveries through the Danube or through the railway through Poland or Romania or Hungary, it's more expensive than to go through the Black Sea ports. For example, if we'll go from X-Work of Ukraine to CPT Odessa, we'll spend about $20 per ton, maybe 25, depends where your farm is located. But if we'll go to Constanta port, we'll spend about $100 per ton. It's $80 difference. And I would like to remind all of you that Ukrainian farmers are working without any subsidy. They have 0 subsidy. And they are working like a real business. They work like a real business. They have to sell their grain with a profit. If they will not sell with a profit, they will take losses. And it's pretty clear that you cannot work with losses every year. And in one day, you become to the bankruptcy. And after, to increase the production for Ukraine will take few years. And during these years, of course, all importers will find the substitution for Ukrainian grain. But this substitution will be more expensive because Ukrainian location, one of the best. We can easily go to the North Africa through the Mediterranean Sea. We can go to Europe. We can go to Asia. And before the war, about 30% of our export we sent to Europe, about 30% we sent to North Africa, and about 40% we sent to Asia. For the moment, I cannot answer for this question how it's changed during the war, because now the system of export very difficult administratively. And when we send grain to Poland or to Romania, after I cannot see to which country this grain is moved. It's possible that this grain moved to Italy or this grain moved to Egypt. I don't know. And what is clear, very difficult to load big vessels to Asia because you have to accumulate 50 or 60,000 tons in Constanța. And all this tonnage has to cross the border in wagons or trucks, or has to be loaded on barges and after move to Constanta port. It's very difficult to organize this logistic chain. That's why all our ports on a big Odessa, it's more easy to operate there and more suitable for Ukrainian farmers and for Ukrainian traders. For the moment, we as a grain association, we are working with next product. Already finds a way how to insure the vessels which are coming during the war to Ukraine, and it's decrease insurance payment, and I am sure the next speaker will talk about this. And for the moment, freight decrease in 2 times since we began export on this corridor 2 months ago. But in any case, it still be more expensive compared to Constanța in 2 times. If we can send vessel from Constanta to Spain, for example, Panamax for $16-18, from Ukraine it will be $35-38. It's in 2 times. We have chance to decrease this freight price. And so many investors, traders, they just to stop operate in Ukraine because we cannot find the insurance mechanism how to insure the grain on an inland silo, on a port silo, and on a road. That's why we in contact with Ministry of Economy, we will try to find the way. Maybe we'll create a special fund like did Marsh McLennan and Lloyd's with Ukrainian government. Maybe we will open the gate by the change in legislation of insurance in Ukraine, and the biggest company will come to Ukraine, and each of the participants in Ukraine, each of the business who would like to trade the grain, who would like purchase or move the grain, or who would like to build some assets in Ukraine will have the opportunity to insure these assets or grain in Ukraine. And this insurance should cover the war risk. In this case, I think the agriculture has a big potential in Ukraine to just reorganize very quick. Without this mechanism will be very difficult. But in any case, I am sure that Ukraine will survive. Ukraine will continue to grow grain. Ukraine will continue to export. And for all of us, we have no other chance as to work on this market. On this slide, I would like to show to you that how the situation changed on a past months since war began. This season, 2021, on the left column, you see that I keep since war began, only since war began, and since February 2022, and how we export the grain on that time. After we have next full season during the war, on which we export nearly 17 million tons of wheat, 2.7 million tons of barley, nearly 30 million tons of corn. By the way, on a corn, Ukrainian Grain Association make a calculation since 1st of July until the 30th of June. I know that all others make calculation since September, but for us it's more easy because our Ministry of Agriculture, they made calculation on this way, and we do not want to have with them discussions about stocks and what we can export. That's why we just simplify our communication, and we change our supply and demand table to their standard. And we export soybeans on a past season, a little bit more than 3 million ton, rapeseeds, and even sunflower seeds, 2,354,000 ton. I do not remember when we export in last time such big volume. And you see all export together, agrarian export, 67 million ton, 800,000. But since new season, we start to export without grain corridor, and you see our achievement, modest achievement, just 3.4 million tons, 3.7, 3.6, and since corridor start to work in October, our numbers start to increase. And for the moment, we reach 5.5 million ton. Mostly it's corn. And you see in percentage, if we will take, if we will see the table down, on a green color, I put the new ports, and on a blue color, I put big Odessa port. And about 50% from total grain export we did through the corridor, through the Black Sea ports. It's just underlying situation. Ukrainian agriculture cannot survive with such big number of export without big Odessa ports. And thanks to our army, which gives the opportunity to work there. Everybody asks how it's possible. I can tell to you how it's possible. Our army just fight on the sea, even without such big military ships. But our army start control the western part of the Black Sea, and it gives to us the opportunity to export more grain through this Black Sea corridor. Thank you very much. It was my last slide. One more time, I would like to thank all of you for supporting Ukraine.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We got a couple of questions. The first one is ports on the Danube, Ismail and Treni. What is your view regarding the future there? So during the war, we see that these ports are developed well, but what will be after the war? What will be after the victory of Ukraine?
Okay, I've got answer for this question. It's quite easy. I'm sure that Ukraine will be part of the European Union. For the moment, we sign the agreement, association agreement, and we are working with European Commission and with Marine Danube cluster as a member or as an associated member, what we can do. And we will keep this logistic to European country as Bulgaria, as Romania. For the moment, you see that the price for barges decrease. Before the war, it was about $10 per ton. During the war, we seen average price about $50 per ton, and sometime it was even $100 per ton. For the moment, it's about 20. We still have potential to decrease price for these barges. For the transshipment grain, all of us will remember price for the transshipment on Danube was about $17-20 per ton. For the moment, it's decreased nearly in 2 times. Sometimes it's $9-11 per ton. And we still have potential to decrease this price, because before the war, I remember even on a big Odessa port, you could find the price $8-9 per ton. That's why I think there will be some movement. Of course, it will not be 5 million ton per month, sure. But on such level as 1 million, 2 million ton, I think we will save this opportunity to continue to operate on the new ports.
Okay, thank you. The second question is regarding the insurance mechanism. You highlighted that this is very important issue to resolve to decrease the freight rate. What is your opinion on what side the ball is? I mean, is it on the Ukrainian side? Is it on the Western market of insurance side? I would say who can solve the matter? Who is the key player who can solve this problem?
In my opinion, for the moment, all Ukrainian companies, most of them would like to load Panamax vessels. And the price for Panamax vessel on the international market increased. And I think Gennady will tell about this. And our agrarians, they just implement this as increasing because of insurance, but it's not. It's because of big demand on China. If you will take vessels smaller size, you will see that freight decrease from Odessa. And for the moment, the Ukrainian government, they put $20 million on this special fund, but it's not state fund. It's state just paid their $20 million. The rest of amount paid by Lloyd's and Marsh McLennan. And for the moment, ball on a market place. And I think the competitiveness and competition between companies will decrease this price. But this corridor only start to work in October. It's a little bit more than 1.5 months, and not so big supply of the vessels doesn't give the opportunity to decrease price to that level, which can be more satisfied for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mykola. We just got another questions from our participants. Now I will spell it. Until now, the Balkan region has been supplied with grain by Russia. Since the conflict between Russia and Ukraine escalated, we have turned to importing from overseas countries rather than relying on Russia. What is your prognosing regarding the supply of Ukrainian grain to this region? Is it possible to obtain competitive market price?
Of course, Ukraine can easily export grain to all European countries without any problem. But there will be question of the market competition. For the moment, so many sanctions and some companies, some countries, they do not want to purchase grain from Russia. There's bloody grain, and there's a big possibility when you purchase grain from Russia that this grain was stolen from Ukrainian territory, because these 6 million hectares which are occupied, and farmers continue to grow grains there. And after Russia just issues their own certificate, and when you will purchase this grain, you can realize after, in a few months or in 1 year, that you purchase this stolen grain. That's why I think for the moment it's not market mechanism, and it's difficult to say why country change. Thanks to them, they change, switch Russian grain to another grain, but Ukraine can easily supply all this demand on Europe and a North African country, because we produce even during the war 22 million ton, and our human consumption in Ukraine, for example, it's about 3.5 million ton per year. We can easily export about 15-16 million ton even with such poor crop. But before the war, we grow more than 30 million ton, and we could export about 25 million without any problem. It's only wheat.
Thank you, Mykola. I think we are full with questions for Mykola. Thank you, Bravo, for your presentation. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you soon. If possible, stay online for further questions. If not, so we are please feel free. So we are passing the baton from Mykola to our next speaker. It's Karina Gorova, associate partner at Interlegal. Our colleague, she will be speaking about interesting cases of Interlegal this year. Karina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Artur. Good afternoon to everybody. One moment, please. Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's an honor for me to be with you today, to share our experience, our vision, to shed the light on the questions, what happened in maritime and trade industry after the war started. So my topic is the blockade of the vessels in Black Sea. So let's start. At the first day of the blockade of the full-scale invasion, more than 80 commercial vessels were blockaded in Ukrainian sea ports. According to our own of Interlegal survey conducted by Interlegal, we know that most of the representatives of the business didn't expect it, the war, didn't expect it development of the war. That's why most of these vessels, these 80 vessels, obtained instruction to continue the loading operation, to continue loading and discharging operations, and further it became problematic for the sellers, for the charterers, and a lot of questions arise. We as the lawyers really received a lot of questions from the point of view of Ukrainian legislation, and the most popular questions were, for example, in case if the vessel was loaded by with the cargo, however, cannot leave the territory of Ukraine, is the carrier obliged to issue the bill of lading? Then how can the carrier, the ship owner, realize his right of lien on cargo, and how this right could be implemented from the point of view of Ukrainian legislation? If the charterer has the right to terminate the charter, and so on. After the 12 months passed from the start of the war, the insurance companies became interested of the questions of blockade, on the questions of whether the commercial vessels really could not leave the territory of Ukraine, so could consider it as lost and warranting the insurance compensation. There were really a lot of questions. Today, we will consider some of them. The first slide, it was the question of our client. He was the seller of the trade, under the trade contract. The contract was concluded on the FOB basis. And according to the terms of the contract, the payment should be obtained against the bill of lading. The cargo was fully loaded on the board of the vessel. However, after the war started, the carrier rejected in issuance of bill of lading. So the question of our client was if they have the right to demand the issuance of bill of lading, and how can we force their master to issue this document. Taking into account that it was a FOB basis, so our client was not the charterer under the contract of carriage, and taking into account that there was no issued the bill of lading, we decided to consider this question from the point of view of Ukrainian legislation, because the vessel was on the territory of Ukraine, and of course the cargo was on the territory of Ukraine. And we considered the Merchant Ship Code of Ukraine, and according of provision of this act, we found out that if the carrier accepted the goods without any remarks concerning the quantity and quality of the goods, and in case the carrier issued the mate's receipt, how it was in our case, he is obliged to issue the bill of lading. The war is not an obstacle not to fulfill this obligation. The only that may be because of the war, it's the right of each party of the contract of carriage to terminate this contract. However, as I said, our client was a seller on the FOB basis. He was not the charterer. And at that moment, the contract was not terminated. So our conclusion was that, yes, the carrier is obliged to issue the bill of lading. And the second question was more complicated, how to force the master to issue this document. We considered considered several legal tools, including applying to the Commercial Court of Ukraine with the suit, and including initiation of a criminal case against the vessel's master. Concerning the commercial case and applying to Ukrainian court, we found the grounds for this. We even found some practice of Ukrainian courts concerning such cases. However, we do understood that both these tools are not very prospective for the client. It will be very long. And even if we will be able to obtain such decision of commercial court, how can we force the master to really enforce this decision? So our advice was to conduct the claims handling procedure, to conduct the negotiations. Further, with the help of negotiations, the bill of lading was issued, and further, after the so-called grain agreement was signed, the vessel left the territory of Ukraine. So this case has a happy end. And another set of questions related to the right of the ship owners to obtain the insurance compensation for the constructive loss of the vessels. From the practice of our clients and from the questions we obtain from them, we know that for insurance companies to conduct the dialogue with the insurance companies, two main aspects should be considered. The first one, the ship owner should prove that the vessel cannot leave the territory of Ukraine. And the second one, that the ship owner has done all his best to secure the departure of the vessel from Ukraine. It should be noted that, of course, the ship owner's position was that there was impossible to leave the territory of Ukraine. However, the insurance companies very carefully considered each particular case and the situation in each particular port of Ukraine. And in the frame of the first aspect, whether the vessel could leave the territory of Ukraine, the main question was whether the ports were closed or not. The history was the following. On the date of invasion, it was the 24 of February. It was a notification of the Ministry of Infrastructure in their Telegram channel that all ports, most of the ports are closed. Ports are closed. And the next day, there was a notification of USPA, Ukrainian Seaports Authority, on Facebook that most of the ports are closed and that the navigation is prohibited. And it was indicated that such ports as Odessa, Nikolaev, Pivdeny, Chernomorsk are closed for navigation. However, could we consider all this to this notification as an official order, as an official decision to close the port? Unfortunately, no. Because according to Ukrainian legislation, it's a separate procedure how to open the ports and how to close the ports. And the ports may be closed only on the ground of the order of Ministry of Infrastructure based on the application of USPA. At that moment, I mean on February, such document were not issued. The first document, the first order concerning the closure of the ports were issued only on April 29. This order concerned only several ports, such ports as Odessa, Nikolaev, Pivdeny, Chernomorsk officially were not closed. So can we say that taking into account that it was not the official order to close the ports of Big Odessa, the vessels could leave the territory of Ukraine? Our opinion, no, because there was a lot of obstacles for this juridical and technical. Even if we don't talk about the danger, there were issued the coastal warnings, the special documents according to which it was announced the prohibition to call and leave their Ukrainian sea ports and prohibition of navigation. On other hand, it were impossible to obtain the pilotage service in those ports that where it's needed, and so on. So our conclusion was that really these vessels could not leave the territory of Ukraine. And another aspect that the ship owner has done all the best for departure of the vessels from the territory of Ukraine. We all know that when the so-called grain agreement was signed, some vessels which were from the beginning loaded with a grain cargo had the possibility to leave their Ukraine with a grain cargo on board. As for the other vessels which were loaded with non-grain cargo, we considered the possibility to discharge this non-grain cargo and to load the vessel with the grain cargo and leave the territory of Ukraine again through the grain corridor. However, to resolve this issue, there are a lot of aspects, a lot of questions arose. For example, to find the terminal which will be ready to receive these goods and to secure the unloading operations, to obtain the consent of the owners of the cargo, to determine the custom status of the cargo, and even to determine the person who will be able and who will be responsible to pay for the storage of the cargo in terminal. From our experience, of our clients, we know that some clients, some vessels resolved this task. They were able to discharge non-grain cargo, to load the grain and leave the territory of Ukraine. However, also we know that some of our clients are discussing with the insurance companies, and it will be interesting to know the result of their communications, their discussion, and the results of the dispute, if such will be. So it's our experience. It's my last slide. I want to say that in case of any further questions, in case of if you need assistance according to Ukrainian legislation, we will be happy to assist. And thank you for your attention, and hope that my presentation was interesting and useful for you. Thank you.
Yep, Karina, thank you for your presentation. The first question is, there was about 80 ships trapped, blocked at the beginning of the war. And do you have statistics about the number for each port? Let's say, where the main part of these vessels were blocked? Can you say?
I may show my first slide in a minute, and they indicated the statistic. Of course, we have this statistic. We considered it as we may see, the most vessels were blocked in Mykolaiv. And then in Kherson. Yes,
and we may say that as Mykolaiv is still blocked, so yes, these vessels are still trapped in the port of Mykolaiv.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And next question is, what are the numbers today? I
What are the
think
numbers today? As I remember, on June of this year, it was about 28 vessels. However, now the grain corridor is working, and maybe some vessels were able to leave again the territory of Ukraine. I don't know exactly as of now.
But in general, I think in general, vessels that were blocked in Odessa, Pivdeny, Chornomorsk, they had a chance to leave, while vessels that were stuck in Mykolaiv, Kherson ports still are there.
Yeah.
So, but I need our friend from Albania ask a question, very specific one. I think that it's very interesting. I mean, about the damage to the vessel and cargo caused by mines placed at the entrance channel and risk. So, what legal steps to follow? So I think that we will address it.
Maybe I will try to answer this question. So I need you are talking about the buyers here, which are waiting for their cargo overseas, and if in case some vessel will hit the mine in the sea, of course, it will be some kind of the force majeure. But we need to see the charter. The first contract here, and we need to see the sales contract. So in case the risks are already passed to the buyer, after if we are talking about the CIF or FOB contracts, so of course it will be the question to the insurance company and some questions between the ship owner and the buyer. So, of course, there are legal steps and the legal procedure what to do, but at the first we need to see the charter party and the insurance policies.
Yes, and I would like to add that that is really one of the reasons why vessels are still blocked, trapped in the ports of Mykolaiv and Kherson. Yes, I think Karina. No, we have other questions. There was a balance on accounts for disbursements that were paid before the start of the war. Currently, the agents cannot return the money, arguing that there is a ban to transfer money in Ukraine. What to do? I mean, what should the owners wait or any chance to receive balance?
There is block to transfer money from Ukraine, but not to Ukraine.
No, I mean, probably the question is that
the ship owner, which already paid for the port call before the war starts. Yeah, and this money still on the accounts of the port, for example. And as far as I understood, the procedures of the payment, which established right now in Ukraine, just block these sums, and the agents cannot collect them from the port and return them to the ship owners. Yeah.
Yes, there is such problem. We know about it, and we had several requests concerning this problem. Unfortunately, the Ukrainian legislation working now like this now. So, or we should wait the changing of the legislation when it will be. Possible to transfer the money from Ukraine to the owners to return this money or to transfer this money to other work. I mean.
Yep. So there is an existing ban from to pay from Ukraine, let's say, for services, only for goods that are critical for the economy of Ukraine. There is such a problem, but this is let's say in your case, in your scenario, so it's a matter to think what to do, because time is flying and If you do not go with the official claim in 3 years period time, you will lose the right to claim this money. And we also got a question about guarantee scheme, but I would like to address this question a little bit later after the next presentation that we have. Let's thank Karina for her presentation. Karina, thank you very much. Please,
Thank you.
yes, please stop the demonstration of your presentation. And I
And
would
mute the microphone, please, also.
yes, please unmute, and we are passing the right to Pavel Svertilov, Chief Executive Officer of Svertilov Marine Consulting, a P&I correspondent of many known P&I clubs. Pavel, yes, so yes, we see your presentation.
Good day, everybody. So everything is okay? Presentation is here?
Yes, we can see your presentation, okay, and
good.
we can hear you. Please
Good,
go.
good. Thank you very much, Artur. Thank you very much, the Interlegal team, for your invitation to participate in this very useful event. So we're really glad to see everyone, and thank you for interest to our presentation. We are representing P&I clubs in Ukraine, and our presentation dedicated to the frequently asked question of our principals, mostly, of course, P&I clubs and ship owners, and sometimes charterers. And we are make a classification all of this question into 4 main groups. The first group is the situation in Ukrainian ports, working regime, potential risks, and restrictions concerning to the working in the port, and all of this specific of operation in the port and wartime period. Of course, this has affected the shipping seriously. The second group of question was concerning to the grain corridor in Ukraine functioning, and all protective measures and how it's in operation. And the third group of question is dedicated to the guarantees and security measures for ship owners. It's also a very important group of frequently asked questions, and clubs and ship owners always to ask prior to ship's call what kind of guarantee, what kind of security should be provided. And the fourth package of questions, this is of course sanctions, restrictions under international law, Ukrainian law, and the related issues concerning to the sanctions imposed on the Russian Federation legal entities and individuals, and of course the cargo, etc., etc. So due to this reasons, we started to our first group of questions, the situation at Ukrainian ports. So as our colleagues already explained, that ports of Big Odessa is in full operation with some precaution measures, of course, and as we know, more than 200 vessels now exported more than 7 million tons of cargo from the ports of Big Odessa. It's including Chernomorsk, Yuzhny, and Pivdenny. And also the Danube cluster. This also include the ports of main ports, Izmail and Reni, and of course some two small ports, Kili and Uсть-Dunaysk. So, and also the port located close to the war-affected area, which is actually closed at the moment, only operate in some internal cargo transshipments operation. And of course, the port on occupied territory, which is closed completely for navigation. Of course, relevant notification was sent to the IMO Secretariat. And of course, in case of ships call into this port, Ukraine cannot guarantee the safety, and due to these reasons, also it would be included into the sanction list, which include the main ports Mariupol, Berdyansk on Azov Sea, Skadovsk and Kherson region, and of course the ports at Crimea, as it was in previously in 2014. So this is a small map. Just I suppose this is well known to shipping people, and of course this map is quite clear which port is actually affected by the war, which is closed and not in operation. And actually the main shipping activity now concentrates into the big Odessa ports and Danube cluster. So this is of course mainly for the grain cargos, but also now is for other cargos as well. This is the main questions also from the principals. For instance, is it possible for instance to arrange the loading of iron ore cargo or cargo of steel or container cargo? So this is also the principals ask, because unfortunately sometimes principals are thinking that previous grain corridor, which was agreed in 2000 to 2022, is somehow in operation, but with some modification. But of course, this is not correct. And we explain it to our principals that the situation is completely changed. So, and due to this reason, so we provide our explanation. So the precaution measures concerning to the working in Ukrainian port, of course, this is a pilot is available at daytime only. During IRIDE warning, the cargo operation will be stopped. The requirements of the port administration to turn off the vessel's lights during the stay in the port. Of course, anchorage is closed, and due to this reason, it should be just two vessels should be approaching the ports in time, and also to leave the port in time. Of course, the risks of air raid attack and missiles and drones attacks still exist, and we explain it to our principals, because sometimes we receive such interesting questions that I heard that everything already okay in Odessa, so no risks. Pavel, please confirm. Of course, we explain that nobody knows how situation will be, even at night now, and we cannot confirm that everything is okay, and risks still exist. Another risk is of course the risk of lighting mines at the approaches of the port, and of course just of precaution measures we have to recommend to make appropriate protective clauses into the charter party, and to agree all of this risk, and of course to buy the war risk insurance policy from reputable war risk underwriters. This is the main precaution measures which we to advise our principals. Of course, due to short notice, surveyors sometimes not able to reach the vessel, especially at nighttime, due to this curfew, due to military status, and we also to explain it to the Pendai Club and shipowners. A few words about the Danube cluster. Of course, the ships call increased on the Danube at the Danube's ports due to this military situation in the country. But unfortunately, due to small, how it means the cargo capacity and low draft, and due to these reasons, of course, there is a risk of collision, damage of fixed and floating objects, and the terminals equipment. So this year we handled several claims with such damage. And of course, we provide some sort of the guarantee letter to the terminal to arrange the payment of the damaged cost. But all of this risk, unfortunately, existing, and we recommend to ship owners, of course, to arrange all precaution measures and to instruct masters accordingly. Of course, we received mostly in 2022, we received many inquiries regarding to the vessels which blocked, stuck at Ukrainian ports, how it should be released, how the assessment, how it should be, which kind of arrangements should be made in order to release the vessel. And we are handling several claims with releasing the vessels. And of course, it was how it means each individual approach to each particular case for this unblocking the vessel. And of course, in this situation, if at the moment about 80 vessels was blocked, now we have no statistic, but many vessels already sailed. Some vessels sailed within the grain corridor, some vessels not within the grain corridor, but in any case, many vessels was unblocked and sailed. This is also the list of questions. Of course, the grain corridor in Ukraine, or is so-called Ukrainian grain corridor, is in progress. So, and due to Russian threats of blockade and all of these things, Ukrainian government is working on the safety of navigation and to arrange alternative routes, navigation routes for the merchant vessels. And we also to explain it to the P&I clubs that this is not a previous grain corridor, this is alternative routes. And the order is that the following: the ships should approach to the military administration in order to arrange the appropriate letter of guarantee that master and owners are fully liable of all risks and damages, and agree to follow the cabinet ministers of Ukraine resolution regarding to the how it means compensation of any possible losses. But we just to explain it a little bit later how it works, and we explain it to our principals, because sometimes we receive the inquiries that is it possible to arrange any military convoy for escorting the vessel, or somehow to provide the security measures in order to avoid some air attack. But unfortunately, we explained that no, this is according to the ship owners and masters risk. But in any case, it should be to arrange by special approaches, special passages, which should be agreed with the Ukrainian authorities, of course. This is the point. So this is a coordinates of the last how this grain corridor, Ukrainian grain corridor, not grain corridor actually. This is a cargo corridor, is in operation, and this is a standard wording of the guarantee, letter of warranty, which is also include the obligation of master to take all possible risk and to follow the cabinet minister's resolution. This is standard wording, and this is also the provided to the ships administration, and master should sign such letter prior to visiting Ukrainian ports. Another thing, another group of questions which we are to provide our clarification. This is regarding the governmental guarantees and security measures. Of course, we provided our advice, our recommendation that this is a standard procedure to sign this guarantee letter, which was provided before by the ship owners and masters. This, according to this resolution, the main thing that first of all, the P&I policy should be enforced at the moment of incident. It should be the official refusal from compensation by P&I club. And it should be the deadline, the 90 days from the date of club's refusal to provide the appropriate application to the Ukrainian government with enclosure of evaluation report of damage caused, and to attach the supporting documents for actual law expenses incurred. Of course, this is include the standard P&I risks like loss of cargo, total loss of the vessel, repair costs, rectifying the deficiencies. But according to my information, there is no precedent that Ukrainian government to pay out the special from the special fund. All of this, according to the owner's application, according to owner's request to compensate. This last incident in Yuzhny, it was somehow settled mostly with P&I clubs and ship owners, as far as I know. So there is no any precedent of such practical how it means using of such of governmental guarantees. But we really receive a lot of some inquiries regarding to this guarantees from the Ukrainian government. concerning to the shipping. Last package of question, it was related to the sanctions and the restrictions under international and Ukrainian law. Of course, this is related to the Ukrainian law of sanctions, and we explained to the principals many times that this is not only Ukrainian sanctions, this is also the international sanctions imposed. So, and just to provide the appropriate clarification regarding to the legal entities, cargo origins, the checking the sanction check, and the P&I clubs has a special departments, and not even P&I clubs, but also the banks who is working with clubs, the special sanctions officers, and this is a special program in the club, which is to issue automatically is it legal entity or individual under sanctions, included into the sanctions list or not. It's sometimes also the a little bit funny situation when, for instance, the same surname or the same surname or name name, and in such situation, of course, it should be the double check, and sometimes the money will be blocked due to these issues. And of course, it should be the additional double check, correspondence, delay in payment, but such situation actually now in force due to these reasons. And another issue is the so-called, also it's strange, of course, because this is a story from 2014, from the illegal annexation of Crimea, but we are still to receive quite interesting inquiries regarding to the how it means sanction imposed for vessels call of Crimean port before, because vessel was sold, and even not one time and several times. This is another owner, another ship manager, no any order to visit sanctions areas, but the vessel was blacklisted for ship's call in 2015, and the question was how to exclude this vessel from the blacklist, from the sanction list of Ukrainian authorities. We explained that this is a very complicated issue. This is actually this is not an easy thing, and of course we explained that for other vessel of this owner who is under management of this owner, no sanctions, but for this vessel, even it was renamed somehow, we do not recommend to visit Ukrainian ports at all. And of course, this vessel will be also under sanction of European Union ports, American ports, UK ports, etc., etc. So this is so we recommend to proceed with complex sanction check in any case, with assistance of P&I clubs and P&I correspondence assistance in order to check the situation on the site and through other sources how this legal entity individual in the sanction list. Another huge package of inquiries related to the specific of restrictions and sanctions due to P&I correspondence activities. For instance, now it's also the separate, I suppose, separate topic, because I suppose everyone knows about this European Union bulletins regarding to the sanctions, which included the occupied territories of Ukraine into the sanctions list. And Zaporozhye, Kherson, Donetsk, Lugansk, and of course Crimea was included into the sanction list as a geographical criteria. But the problem is that unfortunately clubs and especially banks who is working with the club, they make it, because this bulletin is very essential remark, that non-occupied territory is free of sanctions. Only the sanctions is related to the occupied territory of, for instance, Kherson and Zaporozhye region. But banks told us that we are not, of course, we sent our inquiries to the bank to discuss with them over the phone, but unfortunately, the bank's position is very tough, very severe. they told we are not we have a special compliance department, the sanctions department who's checking the sanction list. So we are not actually interested in what kind of territory or what kind which town now released, and after that it's occupied again. It means Kherson and Zaporozhye region, and we follow up this question. Just to avoid these sanctions, we recommend to change the registration, to proceed to the another region of Ukraine, to receive the special certificate of temporary displaced person, new registration, and only after that we agree to arrange the payment of compensation through our accounts, etc., etc. So this is how we work. Another, of course, question is regarding to the how to settle the funds, to sign the R&R documents and settlement agreements. If beneficiary located now in other countries, and how it works. Of course, we sometimes to approach local correspondents in this country, in Georgia, in Poland, just to assist with opening bank accounts of people who is actually refugee in these countries, because really many people from Kherson, from Zaporozhye now is in Poland, in Georgia, and of course we assisted with such inquiries, such P&I services in this challenging period to P&I clubs and ship owners. This is how situation changed dramatically in P&I business, how we are to provide our assistance and demonstrate a proactive approach to all of this non-standard question. So, and just brief presentation, of course, for this topic is very, very complex, and it might be discussed about a day or even more. But anyway, I hope that it was interesting. Many thanks for your kind attention, and good luck.
Pavel, thank you very much. Very straight to the point. Thank you very much. And it's very interesting and useful. We got two questions.
Yes.
The first one is related to Ukrainian guarantee scheme that you explained that there is not a single case when it was used. But can you clarify? Do you have information in the order that stipulated this scheme? There was a deadline or period of time, December 1. So
yes.
Is it over? Do you have information?
This resolution is in force actually. But we did not approach the administration of seaports of Ukraine, because actually I believe if this is a deadline, it should be terminated. But actually the resolution is in force, and due to these reasons, we believe it should be some sort of clarification from the administration of seaports of Ukraine how this scheme will be work further. This is the point.
Thank you. The second question is where is the blacklist? Where can be found? Is it official?
This is official. It should be the list prepared by, if necessary, we provided by Minister of Infrastructure and Transport of Ukraine and General Prosecutor of Ukraine also to have such list. This is regarding to the all vessels, which is to broken the sanctions regime, the sanction regulations, and of course, due to this reason, it should be checked thoroughly how it should be risky to visit Ukrainian ports or not. This is a question.
Yep, we got also one question, but let's say, what about convoys? Can you comment about convoys?
Regarding to convoys, this is also it was a matter. It was a topic subject of discussion between Ukraine and other countries how to arrange the safety and security of the navigation routes at the northwest part of Black Sea. But according to our information, there is no any practical decision regarding to the military protection convoys for defense, for protection of the these routes, these navigation routes during the visit due to ships traffic in Black Sea ports. But of course, this is also interesting question because, for instance, the country which is members of NATO, such as Romania and Bulgaria, this has also affected the shipping in this area because sometimes floating mines were found on the coastline in this country, even in Turkey. And of course, some sort of security measures should be undertaken more effective in this situation.
Okay, and the last final question is that we can afford to Pavel. Does the bank ban is related to all entities mentioned into bill of lading? For example, a shipper, if it's registered in the Kherson region.
Yes, it's possible.
Yes,
it's possible.
So
of course, it should be
just by the territory. I mean, if it's Kherson or Zaporizhia, so the bank is, let's say, does not differ this territory. So it's just if we meet a geographical position of Kherson, there is a problem with the bank.
Yes, we expected such problem because it was the real cases. It was a real situation when such reputable banks as the Bank of New York, Banks of Cyprus, block the money due to geographical criteria. This is the point. And
no matter,
of course,
no matter who it is.
No matter who is this person or legal entities. Of course, the situation should be solved in each particular case. But I think the solution is to approach the bank in advance and to clarify all of this specific in details. If, for instance, the shipper or legal entity located at Kherson is actually under control of Ukrainian government, it should be the clear answer from the bank. If we proceed the money with the transfer through your bank's account with this legal entity, could you check in advance and to provide a clear answer? Is it okay with the money or not okay? If not okay, we proceed, for instance, to looking for another bank. But this is for one case, just to clarify one case, it was not, of course, the trading case with shippers or bills of lading, but one case, it was a lady from Mariupol, registered in Mariupol, Donetsk region. She lost her husband. He was chief engineer on the vessel. And it was at the moment of when the war broke. And we just to arrange the repatriation to the Mariupol, and 2-3 days after the funeral procedure completion, the 24th February started, and all of these things and all of this military activity was commenced. But lady was evacuated in Germany, and we arranged the settlement. But due to this issue with geographical criteria, the Bank of New York blocked the money. And the issue is that it was not even the bank of beneficiary, the bank of receiver. It was a correspondence bank, intermediary bank, because all payments arranged through the American, US correspondence banks. And due to these reasons, this is a difficult question because we have no straightforward communication, direct communication with this intermediary bank, because we are nobody for them. We are not clients. We are not how it means. We have no accounts in this bank, and they just to provide because we can to communicate only through our bank, only through the bank of the lady, of the beneficiary. And we sent inquiries, we make calls, etc., etc., and we received during the almost 1 year the standard responses. Investigation in progress. Investigation in progress. So we need additional documents. We need this. We need that. It was a really difficult story. Only after American lawyers was involved into the matter, just 2 phone calls, money was released and returned back. not to pay to the lady, but return back to us. And due to this reason, of course, it should be checked, all of this issue with the money, with transactions, due to this sanction issue. Yes.
Okay, Pavel, thank you very much. There is one more question, but we will answer it directly into the chat. Pavel, thank you very much for your input. Very valuable, interesting, and useful. Thank you for being with us. And let me introduce our final speaker, a key player in the market, Gennady Ivanov. Gennady, we received a lot of interesting information from Mykola, from Karina and Pavel. So tell us how it affects the Black Sea freight market.
Just a second, Pavel. Pavel, can I ask you to
Stop the
switch
demonstration.
off the demonstration? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Artur. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to participate in this annual conference once again. And I would like for sure thank Interlegal speakers and participants for the opportunity for me to speak here. So this conference is coincided with the two events. One event right now, the vessel under OTC is proceeding through Grain Corridor, which is additional proof that everything is working properly. And another thing that this time we face with a very high freight, global freight market boom. Of course, from time to time, there is volatility on the market. However, the last time I remember such a sharp rise in market was in December 2015, when higher rates for Capesizes and Panamaxes doubled within 2-3 weeks. In particular for Capes, it has been since May 2010 when we last saw such daily increase of 7,000 per day. So I prepared you short graphs, very simple graphs. You see there is sharp market rise for Capesize, for Panamax, for Supramax, and okay, for Supramax and Handys less, but mainly for big sizes. And we already see that some Capesize stems being shaped into two Panamaxes, which boosted the upward market trend for Panamaxes as well. Such market growth came as a real shock to many market participants, and especially to those who relied on short position in their trading portfolio. After all, just a month ago, market forecast, including FFA, showed a fairly low volatility for the end of 2023. For example, on the 1st November, FFA forward rate agreements showed that in December we will have about 30,000 Cape, but in fact we have 51,000 Cape. It's average TC rate. Same for Panamaxes. For December, the forecast was 11,000, but in fact, we have almost double, 21,000. And the same picture with Supramax and Handys. So it's one more time, we can see that the reports of analytics, the predictions, the forecast, we should, should follow it, but always keep in mind another possibility of the development of the market. So we see the difference between predictions just on 1st November and what's happened in December is huge. The question is, why did it happen? So I tried to recap the main reasons of this market growth. So first of all, the main reason is China, like Nikolai also mentioned. China recently declared their clear support to provide financial assistance to struggling private real estate developers, including huge financial injection to support infrastructure spending, which means strong iron ore import demand and demand for Capesizes freight, respectively. Also, we should keep in mind how after financial crisis 2008, the massive financial injection of China into economy allowed to recover global freight market very quickly still in 2009. Next factor is Panama Canal. In 2023, rains in Panama were 30% below average, causing water levels to reduce in the lakes that feed the canal and its locks. And Canal Authority were forced to reduce the number of transit vessels. Further, Canal Authority has implemented the bidding system. The highest bidder wins and gets the priority to transit. As a result, the crazy amount of bidding fee became not economically reasonable, and vessels started to deviate and sail in alternative routes via Cape of Horn, Magellan Strait, and Suez. And thus a number of tonner miles have been increased, which caused decreasing of the supply of the tonnage. And it means by other words, is decrease the number of available ships on the market. And there is no light at the end of the tunnel in the near future with the Panama Canal because the weather forecast is not positive at all, showing still 38% less rain for the rest of the year and further negative scenario for beginning of 2024. The next factor is Brazil's busy grain lineups. This year we have a record export of Brazilian soybeans, mainly to China, and same caused the congestion in the ports, and thus absorbed considerable number of Panamax tonnage from the market. The underlying reason is again linked to weather factor, because the decline water levels in the Amazon River have restricted barge deliveries to the port. Another factor of the market boom, congestion in South Africa and Indonesia ports. About 100 ships are waiting to berth in South Africa ports because of terminal breakdowns and again, bad weather. Plus, there is record Indonesia coal congestion in the ports on top of this. So, all above reasons caused the sharp jump of global freight rates. And I would like to draw our attention of how many times the weather factor was mentioned among the factors. So seems it's the first time when the climate factors, if not yet ahead, but already almost reached the fundamentals in influencing the global freight market. So let's move now to Black Sea. We can in brief, we can describe the situation in Black Sea market by using this graph. It reflects the changes of rates for the vessel deadweight 58,000 deadweight for the route from Black Sea to Far East. So we can see the change of higher rates for the, let's say, for grain parcel, about 55,000 of grain. In July 2022, at the time the prospects of grain corridor via Istanbul were announced, the market stopped failing. Then the market began to grow, but by the end of the year, due to Russian rockets attack, bad weather, and global fundamentals, it began to decline. In 2023, the beginning, concerns about non-renewal of corridor were added and to such negative trend. In early March 2023, in anticipation of the declared final operating date of the corridor as mid-May, the grain sales and demand for tonnage increased. After the corridor closed, the market began to fall again. And after the announcement of the work of the corridor in September, the freight market started to move upwards. So there is no need to talk about the important role of Ukrainian export as a significant market maker for the Black Sea freight market. However, in terms of supply demand, while evaluation of the freight, we should consider also export from Romania, Bulgaria, and unfortunately Russia. Our company, BPG Shipping, was one of the first to test the alternative sea corridor in September, and from personal experience, would like to emphasize the highly professional level of coordination of Armed Forces of Ukraine, port authorities, agencies, and terminals. At the time the new corridor was announced, there were concerns among ship owners as to the risk in general and possibility to get war risk insurance. However, shipping community, like with Istanbul Corridor 2022, once again showed to Ukraine the high level of support and confidence. It goes without saying that such support is also based on freight premium factor. The business for vessel owners who calls Ukraine, they get premium for the freight. we can see the dynamic of the freight rates for handy-size quantity, 30,000 metric tons of wheat for the route Odessa to Med, Spain or Med, Egypt. Comparing with the start of operation, when freight rates were about $70 per metric ton, we can see that now in December it's about $30 difference. Basically, again, like Nikolai mentioned, this freight boom touched mainly big size vessels. And in terms of handy sizes, the freights are still declining in Black Sea. So at the start of corridor, the rates for ship insurance reached 3-4% of the hull machinery value of the ship, and just to understand, 3% per quantity of cargo, 30,000 metric tons, it makes about $13-16 per metric ton, including crew bonus. For comparison, in May, during the end of operation of all, let's say, previous Istanbul grain corridor, rates for insurance reached 0.75-1%. Prior disaster with Panamax in Pivdennny port, which been attacked by Russian rockets, the insurance costs were about 2%. After that case, the rates increased for about 2.3%, and back now to 2% about. Also, as good news, insurance companies have returned to the practice of using no-claim bonus, which allow to get at the end, after all deductions, 1.8% rate if no insurance case happened. In general, traders can estimate current war risk insurance costs in the freight rate as about $10 per metric tons for 7 days. In case vessel would exceed period 7 days, vessel stay in Ukrainian waters, especially now during winter, the possibility is increased. Any extra day will cost about $1 per metric ton. Just to add about war risk insurance, of course, Pavel mentioned this very clearly, but I would like to just share some views from owner's side. After Russia withdrew from the grain deal, Ukraine announced about creation of special fund in the amount of 20 billion of hryvnia. However, the story seems ended in nothing then. Ship owners went to the insurance companies and started to buy insurance directly. Assume this was left on paper mainly because of the complicated and unclear procedure, as there were no understanding from market participants, and first of all for the ship owners, of how this mechanism would work. However, from political aspect, it was a really good decision for Ukraine made at the very right time, as it helped to attract more ship owners to the new corridor, especially in the start. In respect of the recent news about insurance fund of $50 million so far, it has not affected on decreasing of the insurance rates, and so far we'll see what will be in the future. And since only the absence of insurance cases could be a key factor now that can make insurance rates to go down. So we'll see, and let's hope it will materialize. Current market in Black Sea, despite the aforesaid global freight boom, was not considerably affected for handy-size, like I mentioned, and for destination Atlantic. For destination East, the rates a little bit increased. But freight rates for Supramax and Panamax stems have been increased for December, beginning January dates, shipping dates, and we do not expect this current freight boom as long-lasting. However, in 2024, the certain periods of high volatility are expected, and therefore, grain traders who are working from Black Sea, Ukraine, should be very careful to sail Supra, especially Panamax stems, without having freight coverage or freight backing. It's worth mentioning that in addition to grain, other goods are also exported through the corridor, including Capesize ships, which loaded recently iron ore from the port. So all these factors, events give us the reason for confident optimism regarding Ukrainian export in 2024. So, regarding trends for challenges for 2024, It's clear now that the Chinese economy is starting to gain momentum, whilst India continues to have a promising strong growth. And these factors definitely will make an influence on the freight market. In 2023, seaborne trade increased for 3.2%. On the supply tonnage side, it's increased around 2.4%, and the forecast for 2024 is same, about 2.4. So global global tonnage number of vessels that in terms of data will increase for 2.4%. The world economy in 2023 is set to expand by 3%. However, in sharp contrast to the excited feeling of the current spot freight market, the forecast of the global economy, world economy, to slow to 2.7% in 2024. Depending on which particular commodities out of seaborne trade portfolio could be negatively affected, but in general we can see that so far there is no critical disbalance between tonnage supply and cargo demand, and if you consider global picture. Congestion is a major disruptor of markets 2021 and first half 2022, has reappeared and is now impacting severely dry markets. Because of many ships changed route from Panama to Suez, we can expect the congestion for Suez Channel transit, and this may appear as important factor of influence as well. It should be closely monitored by traders which do business from Black Sea for sure. Geopolitical issues remain a threat to demand. Some of the negative factors impacting trading patterns due to Russia-Ukraine war have now a bit softened compared to 2022. For example, European imports of coal have dramatically fallen from South Africa, and it was stating the same now creating a vacuum of availability of big tonnage like Capesize, Panamax from the continent area, and as a result, Capesize can get $1,000 higher per day from continent to Far East. Recent piracy issue against in the Gulf of Aden and attacks with drones, helicopters. So after many years, this area may become a trouble bottleneck again. So we should again focus and monitor the situation. Finally, also the change of trade routes could be considered as one of more long-term factors of volatility in 2024. Like in 2021, when a number of container cargoes due to sharp rise shifted to dry bulk segment, now dry bulk container freight rates at rock bottom levels. Thus, there may be a threat of number of break bulk, baked and conventional cargo moving across to containers. It means less cargo for dry bulk. In January 2024, Suez Canal fees for dry bulk ships will go up for 5%. Also for Turkish trades, pilotage service will increase about 8%. Above increase will slightly but affect the components of the freight ex Black Sea. And now we are ending this CO2 green gases emission. So market agrees that from 1st January 2024, the cost of European Union carbon allowances to be included in Capesize freight assessments, namely for the voyage route from Brazil to Rotterdam and from Colombia to Rotterdam. So shipping companies will have to buy European Union carbon permits to cover certain percentage of their emissions. The bottom line idea is that emission trading will force shipping companies to invest in clean technologies. Otherwise, they will have to pay a considerable amount of money. So first, generally, we will introduce challenges for non-eco tonnage, first of all. And as a result, we may see the imbalance begin to develop between oceans, and with more efficient tonnage being preferred for European trading. Globally, the maritime sector itself is responsible for around 3% of greenhouse gas emissions only. But from numerous news articles related to CO2 topics in shipping, looks like the number considerably higher than 3%. About the rest, 97%. There are just some quotes from the official worldwide news. South Africa. South Africa is likely to prioritize energy security over its decarbonization aspiration to avoid further damage to its economy. India. The Power Ministry of India is unlikely to participate in the World Bank's Accelerated Coal Transition Investment Plan, which aims to facilitate a move away from coal. India will make available the electricity required for our growth, and we are not going to default on them. China. China has 400 new coal power plants under construction. Indonesia. Indonesia coal consumption will rise steadily due to construction of new coal-fired power plants. Vietnam. Country faces challenges that arise from its rapid economic growth and increasing power demand. So there is question: energy security versus climate goals. Anyway, considering the underlying reasons of current market boom in many ways based on climate factors, it goes without saying that for the sake of future, it's important to reduce emitting CO2 today. So we shall see further the developments in 2024 in this respect. And needless to say that in 2024, we wish the all wars in the world to be stopped. So thank you very much. And if any questions, we'll be glad to answer.
Gennady, thank you very much. Of course, we have certain questions after your presentation. The first is, besides the reasons that you mentioned impacting the price of grain, don't you think that wholesale buyers and distributors could be another significant factor that influence grain price fluctuations?
Can you repeat, please?
Yep, you can see it in the Q&A section if better. But I shall repeat. Yes, this is. You can stop the presentation, Gennady.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and please have a look at the questions and answers. Вопросы-ответы. Can you see it?
Yes, from whom? Okay.
From any. You have two questions, yes.
No, basically, I was mentioning freight rates. For grain prices, it's a commodity market. So I'm not sure I'm expert enough to answer on this question.
Okay. For the insight on freight, ballpark ex-Odessa to Spain, which display a hefty premium vis-a-vis Constanța. How would the premium to Egypt look like vis-a-vis the enemy's main export hub? Percentage-wise, on a ballpark basis, what kind of time charter premium do moral ship owners ask vis-a-vis Romania for trips loading in the enemy country? Very proactive question from Armando. Armando, bravo.
The difference between in the same component from Ukraine comparing to Constanța, I always make such comparison. We should consider difference between Constanța and Ukraine. What is the difference? The freight components. First of all, it's a premium for the freight for the coal of Ukraine. It's secondly, it's a premium for it's insurance premium. And so it's basically there are two main components, which makes difference between Constanța and Odessa. For insurance nowadays it's about $10 for freight premium. I guess it depends. It could be $3, could be $7. So let's say the difference between Constanța and Odessa for Atlantic route nowadays we can say about from $15 up to $20.
Gennady, one more question. We some 10 days ago we had a live event dedicated to the Danube River logistics, and an expert said that to his mind now the market of the coasters, I mean Danube River, let's say Danube River tonnage, is held by newcomers to the market, mainly by Turkish ship owners and ship owners from East Mediterranean region. Can you make, I know that this is not your sector, I mean coasters, but can you comment, is it true, I mean, that the Black Sea market is, let's say, rearranged and there are newcomers on the market? And my next question is that these such newcomers like Turkish ship owners or ship owners from East Mediterranean area, they do not care much about insurance covers, so they're, let's say, more risky. Is that true?
For Danube, okay, we are not working in coastal side. We don't touch in Danube, but of course, market is it's a big, and the market same time is very narrow, especially when it concerns Black Sea. For Danube, there are a lot of evidences, rumors, statements that some of coaster owners, they don't buy insurance, but they include this insurance into the freight. That's looks like it's true, so I can trust in this. For Black Sea, for big Odessa ports, we have both, let's say, quite reputable owners, which definitely, especially for Panamaxes, it's definitely they buy insurance. But at the same time, there are some Turkish owners, some Arabic owners, and again, it's what I heard. I'm not sure. I don't have any improvement. We mainly work with, let's say, A1 owners. I mean, with owners which we sure they buy insurance, because when you don't buy insurance, everything is good until it's good. You understand this? And I heard that some, especially handy-sized owners, some coasters owners, they don't buy insurance to call Odessa as well. But again, it's just rumors. I don't have any proof of this. But temptation is high. It's very big because insurance again is about $10 of freight. If you charge even $7 into freight rate but don't buy insurance, it means you save this $7. So we can expect what it may happen.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So I'm sharing this view. So this is what just we heard, and you just confirmed that there are such things in the market. So let's say we are over. Thank you, everyone. I think it was very interesting. Thanks to all speakers, to Mykola Gorbachev, head of the Ukrainian Grain Association, to Karina Gorova, partner of Interlegal, Pavel Svertilov, Chief Executive Officer of Svertilov Marine Consulting, and General Manager of BPG Shipping, Gennady Ivanov. I think that we have updates on all issues up to now. We discussed, we were very interactive. We had many questions, and I think the audience feedback was very positive. Thanks to Interlegal team. Let me remind that this is an annual event that we run together with the Black Sea Institute of Maritime and International Trade Law. Nikos Marmatsouris, our friend from Greece, wrote that he thanks everyone for the informative webinar, and congrats to all speakers. Yes, so it's, let's say, we stay very positive.
See you next year.
See you next year. Please follow us. As I told you, everybody will get a link by email for the records. Please feel free to share with your colleagues. Please follow our news, and I think next year we will have also many interesting events. And also, let me say thanks to Ukrainian Army forces, because we can, it's due to their heroic stays, we all have a possibility to dedicate time to business. Glory to Ukraine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Героям слава. Дякую.